All right.
We're back.
We are absolutely October 31st, 2025. This year is coming to a close real quick, real fast. This is Community
God,
Beacon. We've
gosh,
been,
when you said it like that, oh
yeah,
man,
think about it. We've been, and we've been here each and every week. So here we are, Community Beacon. Appreciate you checking in, bringing you yet another episode. And actually, I guess we'll turn this, brother was saying, turn this into a series. We'll be speaking on resilience. I am your humble and gracious host, co-host, Tom Peterson, Michael Still. Appreciate you all for tuning in. And of course, on the other side, my brother
that's
from
him.
another mother, the Joel Simmons of the Tenacity Foundation, people. All right.
Let's get ready to rumble.
All right. Let's get into it. I know we're pressed for time here, so let's
Yeah, guys. Mike, I got a just where we at? Where we at? I'm at my parents' house. I'm at my parents' house, and just so that people out there know, I called up Mike earlier. I sent him a message. I was like, "Hey, man, can we do such and such?" So we adjusted some things, and he was so gracious enough to adjust things. I'm here for the first family reunion that I've ever been to in my family, and we're doing it here. And when I got up this morning, I looked at Mike's uh, his feed, and he was lifting some heavy weights, right? And he was talking about resilience, and I was like, I need to holler at him, because sometimes our days are just going and going, and before you know it, it's like the day we're here. We're here. It's Community Beacon Day, and that happened to me. And so I'm just looking at him like, there's a bunch of stuff I'm not able to do today. So I just went into my calendar and I blacked out the entire calendar for the rest of the day. Like, I'm not doing anything except for like these three things. That's it. And one of them is being here with you, but that's it. Nothing else is getting done. Whatever people want to think that's going to happen is not going to happen. And so, like, that's what's happening right now. You see me in the backyard, on the patio, at my parents' house. I'm super excited, super, super excited. I'm going to meet people I've never met before in my life. And I'm going to meet some people that I only recently have met on Zoom. And so this is a pretty big occasion. I'm glad to be here with you, Mike. I'm glad to be here on the Community Beacon. This is so important to me to be here, to have my mind focused and in this zone, because there's going to be something that I'm going to learn here that I'm going to take away. And I'm grateful for every single opportunity that I get a chance to do this.
amen, brother. So jump into it. You already started. Resilience. What was on your mind about
I've already
resilience?
started. Hold on. Then I got one more thing then. How are you? We got
I'm awesome.
Jamaica.
I it's an interesting thing. Jamaica's fine. My father's fine. Um, that's it. If you want to go, go. If you don't want to go, go. Uh, definitely prayers and for those guys out there. But we've been through our share of hurricanes here. Jamaica's been through a share of hurricanes. One thing that I do know is that the show will go on. So I don't like to faint as if there's some type of deepness to it, right? You're either going to get into action or you're not. And so I'm awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm
All right, let's get into
really glad.
resilience. They people in Jamaica may want to hear about this as well. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you will, I'm gonna actually take a story from out of Jamaica to open up resilience. We have a church member whose father was swept away in the floods, and they couldn't find him for a while. He turned up, and when he turned up, he was in the hospital, and he was a little battered and broken. And now he's back out, and we got a chance to see him, and he's smiling. And I sent out a message. I'll share it with you all because I thought that it was just I don't want to say it was an opportunity, but it was just an awesome opportunity to just like reconnect, reconnect, understand what your value is, understand who you are, understand what you have going on in your life. I think this is a lesson in resilience, right? And I sent this message out after I got this. Life is precious. As we all strive to do great things or struggle through great challenges, moments like this remind me of how quickly what we strive for or what we struggle against becomes less than important. Serve God, love your family, count your blessings. Your challenge doesn't define you, but your character will always shine a light on who you truly are and what you truly believe. And so I sent that message out because so many times people get bogged down with the distress of living, the challenges of achieving. And like we're opening up resiliency. And it's like, this is the conversation. So many people are going through difficulties, and I've had my share. Mike has had his share, and anyone who's out there watching this show, you have had your share. And on the opposite side of those challenges that maybe bring or bog people down, we have had our desires, our drive to achieve whatever, right? And in the midst of all that, there have been times when we have been knocked down, when we be laid flat, when we've been striving so hard to achieve something and we just felt like it became unachievable. And it's like, how do we bounce back? Well, part of bouncing back is like realizing this is not it. Everything is not about that. There's more to life. And so I'm just opening up that door to a thought, because I'll tell you this, Mike, some people, they ask me certain questions and I tell them my address. I said, my address is Romans 8:28. You want to know how I get through stuff? You want to know how I overcome things? My address. You want to know where I live? I live in Romans 8:28. All things work together for good. This is how I bounce back. This is how I get up. Forward thinking, positive mindset. Just like what Mike said just a moment ago, things are going to take care of things. Put everything in proper perspective. If it's for you to immobilize and actionize, do it. Go do it. Don't talk about it, be about it. But if it's not, don't sit there and wallow. You got to get up, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get in it.
I love it, brother. I love inspiration. And listen, and you don't have to, because I think plenty people don't. Right. I think there's plenty people who are still stuck wherever they're stuck, and they lack resiliency, whether or not they have the hope or the faith that it's there for them to tap into. Right. That's totally up to how they see it and how they frame things. And so when the brother brought resiliency, it was yesterday actually, right? Like you sent, was it yes? Yeah. Yesterday you sent the message, and I'm like, oh, okay. You know, then my mind just get starts to thinking, like, how do we put these things together? And then and I go on all different spectrums. So it'll be super positive, and it'll go all the way to the negative. And what kept recurring to me, even up through today, and even as you speak, is how did you get there, right? Like how do you get here? And oftentimes the resiliency is, it comes from what? It comes from being down. And then we don't even understand like how we got to the point of being down. And oftentimes we believe that being resilient is, you know what, I love Les Brown. Les Brown said, if you can get up, if you can look
If
up,
you
then
can
you
look up,
get up. Then you can get up, right? And for those of us who can plug into that, into those vibrations, and for those of us who can like you utilize that, right? When he said it, and I remember listening to him uh back then. This is when I wasn't listening to any music. I said I was gonna just do no music. All I was gonna do was motivational talks. And I was doing battle rap too. I'm not gonna lie, but there was no music attached to it. But I remember hearing that. I'm like, okay, that going in the gym and hearing that while I was going through the steps, I'm like, oh yeah. And this is years ago. This had to be like 6 or 7 years ago. How did you get down in the first place? Right? And we get a chance to take a look at that. Not necessarily because the resilience is at times come from just being reactive. And I wanted to make sure that as we get into this will be a series, right? So this is not the first and last time we're going to talk about it. We're not going to be on here too much longer, but I just want to put some things in your mind. Is as much as what resilience is about, I'm going to tell you one thing that it's not about. And that is what they call insanity. And that's what some people describe as doing the same things over and over and over again and wanting different results. So as you go through this resilience, when you're in this period, if you're down, you get a chance to first off become aware of how did I get here, right? And I would even say the act of how I process resilience. I took an action, I made an observation, I got an outcome that at this point I may had not necessarily been positive, and I make the adjustment, right? So the resilience part is like, okay, I'm down, I got back up. A part of it, and this is going to help with the momentum, is that I'm making the adjustment to it. There's a what is it? A law of physics where it says an object that is in motion stays in motion unless acted upon from an outside force, right? So in order for you to be resilient, that means that something happened with the momentum, because your fault. I would imagine if you were down, right? So you're down, so you're no longer in motion in that sense of it, like you're down. So now you got to get up. Now here's also a law, is that it's going to take you more energy to get back up than it is for you to already be staying in motion. This is the importance of momentum. But at this point, what you're doing is you're tapping into the resilience. You're tapping into something. And however, if you don't make the adjustment and this happens to you over and over and over again, or forget that, because I was listening to some stuff about complex trauma. If you started from this place, this inertia, some people start from survival mode. Some people start from like whatever, I don't know if you've ever seen the graphic of people who are starting behind and they're starting ahead. So some people already start in a certain place. And now you may be super talented and you may have overcome a lot of different things, but when you're just starting up, it takes more energy, right? Think Usain Bolt when he starts cruising, but that initial period of him getting to that takes a lot of energy to get to the point of where he's actually cruising past the finish line, right? When we start talking about resilience, you need to think of it more so as a tool that I'm using, but not a tool that you believe that you're going to overuse. Okay, because there's nothing fun about getting up or falling down and having to get back up and falling down and having to get back up and falling down and having to get back up. You got to start thinking about like, what exactly is this that's making me fall down, whatever it is, right? There's a saying now that people say life is lifing. when I started thinking about that and thinking about resilience, I'm thinking about low standards. I'm thinking about low expectations. So whatever, and when you're at the bottom of the hierarchy, whatever happens, it's liable to knock you down. You become overwhelmed, right? So I'm just thinking as far as resilience, and as we get further into it, is like how do we plug into the tool when it's needed, but also to make the adjustment at the same time. What is the lesson that I'm learning, which we should also add to resilience? While I'm having this resilient moment, which I think is awesome, right? Things happen that we necessarily didn't expect. Things happen that allow us to get a chance to raise our standard. While these things are happening, as I am being resilient, what am I learning from this? What processes do I need to put in place? Is this from an expectation point, or excuse me, from a standard point, like, is this something that should really be tripping me up at this, my mother would say, at your big old age, right? Like, did you not know that did you not put aside to know that certain things are going to happen? Things, that's a part of life, right? Is change, and we expand with it, right? So while we're being resilient, a part of our resilient process, a part of my resilient process, is to expand, is to learn the lesson. And then at some point in time, you find joy in whatever it is you're doing, because you start to see that life is just a series of these things, these so-called challenges, but with proper preparation. If Lou was here, he'd give you all the 7 P's of it. Proper preparation, you'll be tapping into it less. You wouldn't even notice it, right? Because it becomes smaller and smaller. So I'm excited about this this resilience. We're going to probably get even deeper into it. Because things happen, but this is a chance it's for me anyways. I'm in my 40s, so at my big old age, I'm really looking at it and saying, okay, what is this about, and how do we process this?
Man, I love that. A thought came to my mind while you were speaking on that, and it was first stage, second stage resiliency, right? Because you started talking about the lessons that are learned and the effects of the things, the challenges, and how the challenges become less, I don't want to say less effective or less impactful on an individual, but there's a certain amount of joy pressing through them. There's a difference in how we see or how we feel or the impact, how we take the impact. And I guess, so here's an example of a first stage, second stage of resiliency. And wherever a person is where they are. And we all could be at any one of those stages that I'm about to explain at any given moment, depending on what the situation is, right? Especially if it's something new. But like a first stage, if you're a football player, this is what I would say first stage resiliency is. Running back gets the ball, cruises through, gets laid out. He's on the ground. Les Brown style. If you can look up, you can get up. Every single time he gets laid up, he gets up. That's first stage. Every time we run into a challenge, it lays us out. But we get back up and we do it again. There's a scripture that says, a man fall down 7 times, but the Lord raised him up the 8th time. So every single time we get up, resiliency, right? But then a second stage resiliency is the running back. He comes around that corner. 2, 3 men hit him. They try to trip him. He gets his foot out of the trip. He runs. He gets hit. He spins. He gets hit again. He pawns him off. 2 or 3 men actually get a hold of him, but he keeps running forward momentum. Second stage resiliency. It's when you start to get hit, but you understand the impacts that are coming. You are better prepared because of all the lessons that you've learned, and you recognize the different opportunities as they approach you. You start to see the change in the atmosphere, and so you start to move and adjust yourself because you're utilizing this tool. So a second stage resiliency may not look like first stage resiliency. So when we're speaking with people, when we're communicating, especially if we're trying to assist somebody up, we've got to understand everybody's not in the same stage of resiliency. You're trying to pick somebody up and they're not down. They're still moving. They're going through something. They're going through it. And so this is a mindset. So for me, I'm like in second stage resiliency in much of my life. I realize that at any given moment, I can run into something that can lay me flat. I realize that I'm not going to take that off the table because there's always something like we used to talk about it when we were younger, or at least older people used to talk about it to me. And now I guess I talk about it to younger people. But there's always somebody that's bigger than you. There's always somebody that's stronger than you. There's always that other individual that could run faster or whatever. And so you have to be mental. You have to develop this mental toughness. You don't have to, but I developed like this mental toughness. Okay. So I have to think about things differently. I have to be able to maneuver. And when I was young, when it came down to those big bullies, I learned how to maneuver. If I got into a fight with them, I knew how to get into a fight with them on my turf, not on theirs. I became resilient because I learned the lesson. You fight a big enough boy straight up and you don't have, it's like, your punches ain't doing nothing. And his are like, dude. It's a difference. You don't want to put yourself in that position. This is just one example. So I learned how to maneuver around it. Resiliency is an awesome subject. And I love the idea, Mike, that you said it was a tool, so I'm interested in sharpening it and learning a lot from you in
And we
this
will.
series.
and we will be sharpening it. I tell people all the time, and it's interesting. I was in my men's group, and we're having conversations, and one of the things that as we go through it, you mentioned people are on different levels with things, right? I almost think everything is about maturity and connection, and then the opposite of those, right? Immaturity, there's maturity, and then there's connection and there's disconnection. I digress. Uh, we spent so much time doing these community beacons over the last 4 to 5 years, having these deep and involved conversations to where we can get a super deep dive in it. And we're not just showing up, right? Like I want to let people understand, like, we're not just showing up on Friday. Maybe a couple times we did, but we're not just showing up for the majority of the time. We're not showing up a minute or 2 minutes before and saying, "What you want to talk about today?" You know what I mean? Like, what do you want? Like, what do you want to talk about today? And I really had to put this in my mind about the levels that people are at, right? And whether because they say meet people on the level. 9 times out of 10, I'm not even supposed to be having conversations with people. I'm just gonna be honest with you all about this stuff. Is that oftentimes I'm not gonna have conversations with people, and I don't have conversations with people. You don't understand how quickly I exit out of conversations. I actively avoid them because it makes absolutely no sense, right? Because the amount of time, the focus and effort, and now time, because right, 4 or 5 years have gone by of us focusing on these specific growth-minded subjects and gaining information from it and going, and while we're doing it, doing our studies to go outside to find the different information. Most people don't get past the definition, which I'm going to give you guys right now. Merriam-Webster. I'm just going to give you the definition that's going to apply to us. An ability to recover from or adjust easily. Listen, an ability to recover from or
First
adjust
stage,
easily to
second stage.
misfortune or change.
Yeah.
You listening? So most people don't get past that. Like and some people don't even get to that. Oftentimes you'll have conversation with people. I'm helping. I'm giving you some gems now so you can focus on what mastery level stuff, right? Like I'm in this mastery level. I don't even want people standing next. Not even I don't want to stand next to me, but I want it to be known, at least to me, right? Most people hit you with, in my experience or my definition. Now we got to play these games, right? To me, it's almost like, uh, well, my truth, right? Like when people start to give you that, like it's my truth. I take a step back and I say, okay, this conversation is going to be a whole different conversation because now I got to do a whole bunch of mental gymnastics because now I got to be super empathetic with you, and then I got to figure out the triggers because this is your ideology, this is your world view. I was talking with a friend yesterday, Richard Gross. Shout out to Richard. If the brother goes to the gym long enough, he's gonna meet Richard. Richard hasn't met somebody that he doesn't know. I've known Mr. Gross since I think 2013. He's 79. He's going on 80 at this point in time. Um, awesome conversation, a long conversation, and an awesome conversation we had yesterday as we went out to lunch. Now we're playing this. We can't align anywhere, right? So now it's a lot of us staying in one place. But 5 years and defining and going back and forth and giving our different purviews on it and understanding of it and seeing how it is from this worldview and really getting to the depths of it, not judging, right? There's always some form of judgment, but as being as observational and unbiased as possible, I think the brother is, anyways, and empathetic as we possibly can be. Do you understand the amount of depth that we would have at this point in time because of this amount of focus and effort and seeking and understanding and intelligence? Because I'm a super intelligent person. That we're at, oftentimes it's better for me just to abstain from these different conversations, right? So we started with this Webster definition, right? To ability to recover from or adjust easily to misfortune or change, and how we're going to plug into those things, right? The brother's giving you the level 1, the level 2 of it. I get a chance to go back and listen to it again, and I've given you like where I'm my thought process on it, because I don't want us to make a lot of these things bigger. Some normal things that happen in life, we're making them bigger than what they are. We could, right? And what happens is that it stunts growth. And repeating the same lesson over and over again is going to stunt you. And that's why I started off, I said some people aren't resilient. So if there's a level 0, some people are at 0 where they're just saying, you know, which I would almost describe as arrested development. I've reached a certain age. I don't want to deal with any of the stuff that comes past this, right? I've reached my quote unquote breaking point. Some people even go worse than that, right? They completely do the opposite, right? We want to focus on, okay, how do we gain positive results? How do we plug into this? Because it's another tool on our belt, right? Well, what do we talk about? Communication, which we went super in depth into. It was tools in our belt, establishing principles. These are tools that we have at our disposal, and all we have to do is become aware of it, observe it. What did I say? And then we make the adjustment to it. Those are the A's that we often talk about, and then we just go into our tool belt to move forward. So I think this is going to be just like it. We'll go into depth onto it, and you all get a chance to kind of go back and listen to and engage, right? I probably should have said that from the beginning. You know, engage with it. Hey, this is what I'm seeing in regards to resilience and so on and so forth, and reach out and we'll definitely get back to you. This is a chance for you and maybe we go in that direction. This is a whole different thought process. Like maybe we go in a direction where we have a chance for you all to actually come on here and speak about certain things, and we can kind of go back and forth. That might be interesting as well. Well, I don't know, but That's it, brother. I want you to get to
Yeah.
your prepare
Yeah.
and get into the state of the reunion that you'll be engaging in shortly.
Yeah, man. I definitely appreciate you thinking about my time and the things that are going around here. As always, you always are like that. So I appreciate it, man. Great relationship, man. You're a great friend. Great friend. Great brother. Uh, Man, I appreciate you 100%. 100%. All right, fellas, boys, girls,
Mm.
men, women, let's go out and be more resilient.
Gentlemen. Yeah. Start
Gentlemen,
thinking about it. At least start thinking about it.
yeah.
And maybe you in a spot where you
Good.
are at that, right? Like maybe someone's in that spot where they're like, I don't I don't know what I'm supposed to do next, which I think is an awesome spot. Like this, I think
Yeah,
this is the as we go through this is gonna help.
agreed. Listen, let's be
Yeah.
more like rubber bands and snap back. Don't get dry rotted. You pull a dry rotted rubber band too far, it's gonna pop. That's arrested development. Let's not pop, y'all. Let's not just give up. If you're watching this, it's probably not in you. Like if you're watching this, if you actually got to minute 31, you're probably looking for something more because generally people only watch what they like or what they need,
Mm.
right? So if you're still here, that's because it's somewhere inside of you. Let's go ahead and pull that out. Let's shine some light on it. And then, as the brother said, let's sharpen that. Let's sharpen that tool. Let's shine some light on it. Let's see what it looks like. Maybe it's dusty. Let's dust it off. Maybe it's rusty. Let's go ahead and get that corrosion off, whatever we need to do. But let's get it right. And listen, we are humble because we are learning the entire time, still learning, always learning how to do things better. So no matter what level of mastery we reach, we're still looking to become greater because the last thing that either one of us want to do is to reach a pinnacle and think that we have done it all because at that very moment we will fall, you know. So we're here, man. We're here, you know. Sending out a lot of love to everybody all over the place because we're putting in the time to be here. We take away from family and love. Don't worry about that. We just like to do this.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, guys. Peace. See you next week. If the what is it? The creek don't rise and the whatever.